Number 7, The Dude Abides, The Big Lebowski. This is another one of those cult films, except this movie's cult film is spreading every year. There's actually a festival that celebrates this movie called Lebowski Fest that has people dress up as their favorite character from this movie. And they drink White Russians, I think they're called. Overall, this is a very funny movie, and I think, not counting Caddyshack, the only R-rated movie on here. No, Animal House is R-rated as well. I just can't explain it. This movie has so many great characters. It's very well written, very well filmed. The soundtrack serves it well. My favorite of the Coen Brothers films, and it's got such a cult following on the internet. Like, you look this up on the internet, you'll see like a bunch of scenes or clips. It's just an awesome movie. That's all I can say. In case you're wondering who my favorite character is, I like Walter Sobchak just because he's such a fucking maniac. Number 6, my favorite of the Austin Powers series, The Spy Who Shagged Me. Yeah, baby! Though I think the first film has the best story, the second one, hands down, has the best jokes. And I don't know why, but I like the late 90s-ish feel to it. Maybe it's because that was when my childhood was in full swing. I love this movie. It's very funny, very well written James Bond spoof. Though around this time is where I feel the Austin Powers series decided to rely more on jokes than actual plot. But that's just a minor nitpick, and plus, I might actually do a full-fledged review of all 3 Austin Powers movies. But still, the second one is my favorite. Number 5, The Blues Brothers. I have a soft spot for this movie because this is kind of special to the people of Chicago. And what can you say? The Blues Brothers is a bit long in the tooth, clocking in about 2 hours, 13 minutes. But it's very entertaining, very well done, and has one of, hands down, probably the greatest car chase scene and one of the all-time craziest ever captured on the film. It's got a great soundtrack, great performances from great musicians, you name it. The only complaint, like I said, is that it's a bit long in the tooth, but still, it's a great movie. Number 4, Ace Ventura, Pet Detective. Again, this is another 2-pack with the original and the sequel. The sequel's not bad, but it's a little on the stupid side and just feels like something's missing. I like the first just because it's one of Jim Carrey's best roles, and it was his first starring one, the one that got him attention in the first place. Plus, I think this 2-pack also comes with a few episodes from the short-lived cartoon show. Now, if only they did that with The Mask. That would make me happy. Number 3 on my list. Another John Hughes, John Candy movie, except this one's got Steve Martin. Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. Though there aren't that many holiday films for Thanksgiving, or like Thanksgiving-themed films, usually there's a lot of Christmas and occasionally Easter-themed films. But there's not that many Thanksgiving-themed films. This is kind of like the unofficial movie to watch. This is like the movie to watch when you're celebrating Thanksgiving. It's about a businessman named Neil Page, played by Steve Martin, who meets up with John Candy, who's also a businessman, except, well, Neil Page is kind of like stuck up and legit, like really high on the legal food chain, if you will. John Candy is kind of low. However, the difference is, while Steve Martin might be in a higher position business-wise as a person, he's kind of mean and nasty. John Candy is the opposite. He may not be so high on the business level, but he's probably one of the most likable characters you'll ever see in film. This movie is just classic. If you haven't seen this, rent it. I almost guarantee that you'll like it. I mean, this is just a movie that seems to get better with age. And unlike most movies from the 80s, it doesn't seem to be that dated, at least not to me. But overall, this has got to be one of the most likable movies ever. My only complaint is this one scene that involves a lot of foul language that was kind of unnecessary, but still. It's a great movie. What can you say? It's Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. One of the best written comedies ever. Number 2, Bruce Almighty. This is actually one of the highest grossing comedies of all time, and it's funny as hell. And it actually proposes an interesting concept. What if you could be God for a week? Being God for a week? That's probably like the biggest gift anyone could ever get, because they could do almost anything they want. And overall, it's a very well done movie. It's kind of a little bit like It's a Wonderful Life-ish, though not like, say, the movie Click with Adam Sandler was, because that clearly borrowed from It's a Wonderful Life. This kind of is like that, but not by much. It's got Jim Carrey as Bruce Nolan, a down-on-his-luck TV reporter who blames everything on God, everything bad in his life on God, and God, who's played wonderfully by Morgan Freeman here, says, "Fine, you don't like the way I'm doing my job? Why don't you have it for a week?" Hijinks ensues, and yet he also finds the consequences of his actions. It's a funny movie, very heartwarming, hands down one of my all-time favorites. I love this movie, not to death, but it's such a likable movie, like Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. Now you might be wondering, what could possibly top Bruce Almighty? It's one of the highest-grossing comedies of all time, second only to Home Alone, I believe. What could possibly top that? I'll tell you. Smoking! My favorite comedy of all time, The Mask. As you can see, this is the original VHS copy, and that's seen better days. See the top tab's missing. The case is very beaten up. I love this movie to death. Like, when I watched it when I was 4, I'm going to say, I loved it. Kind of funny, because this is a PG-13 rated movie, and I watched this when I was 4. Funny thing is, I didn't even ask for the movie. I didn't even know there was a movie. I remember watching the animated series, and I realized they released some of these on home video, so I asked for just for The Mask, because I didn't know there was an actual movie called it. And I loved it. I must have played this movie more times than any other movie I've ever watched in my life. At least that I can remember. I must have watched this movie like non-stop for several years, at least for 3 years, before I finally got tired of it. Then I decided to put it away for a long time, and then I took it back out, and I love this movie. Jim Carrey is so well done casted in this movie. It's kind of similar to Bruce Almighty. He's kind of down on his luck, except this time it's not his fault. It's just like being at the wrong place at the wrong time. And then he finds salvation when he finds a mysterious mask. He puts it on, his face turns green, and he pretty much becomes a real-life cartoon character. The movie is so... I mean, what can you say? It's one of my favorite movies of all time, hands down. It's got a very big cult following. What more can you say? There was actually supposed to be a sequel to it, but Jim Carrey turned it down because of his bad experience from working on the sequel to Ace Ventura. And pretty much since then, he's turned down every other possible sequel. There was eventually one, but that Jamie Kennedy and the sequel that finally didn't come out until 11 years after this film's release, and it's so bad I will not even mention its name. It is an abomination to mankind. Still, this movie, you can't go wrong. One of my favorite movies of my childhood, and I still like it to this day. This is my pick for my favorite comedy of all time. This is Rockboy97 signing out, guys. I hope this video comes out. Please leave your picks for your 20 favorite comedies, or 10 if you can't pick out 20. I might make some more videos in the future. It depends on how busy I am during the summer. Talk to you guys later. Peace out.